I returned from my business trip earlier than expected, excited to surprise Miguel. I didn't tell anyone. I wanted to see him without any warning, but the real surprise was for me. As I turned the corner, I noticed my house was decorated with blue and pink balloons, and a banner at the entrance read, "Welcome, our little miracle." I felt a pit in my stomach. I parked a block away and walked to the door, which was ajar. From inside I could hear laughter, music, and a festive atmosphere. I slipped in unnoticed and stopped dead in my tracks at the threshold. Standing before me was Carmen, my best friend, visibly pregnant. My mother-in-law gently stroked her belly, gazing at her adoringly. My mother was serving drinks to the guests, and baby gifts were piled up on a table. "Is the room ready yet?" my aunt asked curiously. "Almost. Miguel has been painting it every weekend," Carmen replied with a radiant smile. Then Miguel appeared with a tray of drinks in his hands. He approached Carmen and put his arms around her from behind, gently stroking her belly with a tenderness I'd never seen in our house. "We just need to assemble the crib. We chose it together last week," he said warmly. My world shattered into a million pieces. My mother saw me in the doorway and her face went white. She put down the tray she was holding and hurried toward me. "Anna, we weren't expecting you back today. Let's go outside. We need to talk." I pulled away from his grip. "Talk about what?" "About how my husband got my best friend pregnant while I was working in another country." The silence was deafening. Carmen paled. Miguel remained motionless, his hands still on her stomach. "Anna, please," he began. "Don't you dare." I interrupted him. My gaze swept around the room. My father avoided looking at me. How long have they been deceiving me? No one answered. Carmen tried to approach. "We didn't want you to find out like this." I let out a bitter laugh. "Oh, right. It would have been better after the birth or when the child turned 18, wouldn't it?" My mother-in-law chimed in. "Anna, please, think of the baby. Carmen doesn't need this stress." My gaze fixed on her. "The same stress I had when I lost my baby 2 years ago. Where was your concern then, Rosa?" The air seemed to disappear from the room. Miguel tried to intervene. "Anna, please, let's talk in private. Don't make a scene." I smiled coldly. "A scene? No, Miguel. The scene is this. You, embracing your lover's belly at a party organized by my own family." I turned to Carmen. "Did he tell you how he convinced me to take that job abroad? Or did he just say he was lonely and abandoned because his cruel wife was thinking about her career?" Carmen started to cry. "It wasn't like that. We didn't plan this." "Oh, right. I suppose you just tripped and fell while pregnant by my husband." Some guests were gathering their things. Awkward. My father cleared his throat. "Anna, calm down. You're upset." I held her gaze. "Upset? No, Dad. I'm perfectly calm. In fact, I'm grateful." My mother frowned. "Thank you." I nodded with a sharp smile. "Because now I know exactly who each of you is." I scanned the room. My husband, a liar. My best friend, a traitor. My family, a bunch of cowards who chose to protect this charade rather than me. I went over to the gift table and picked one at random. "This is for you, Mom. A nice little something for your son-in-law's mistress's baby." I opened the package. It was a white baby outfit with blue details. "I hope you kept the receipt." Miguel stepped forward. "Enough, Anna. You're making a fool of yourself." I let out a dry laugh. "Me? No, Miguel. You're the one who made a fool of yourself when you decided to sleep with my best friend while I paid all the bills." My mother-in-law stood up, indignant. "Miguel was only looking for the happiness you couldn't give him. Always busy. Always working." I looked at her coldly. "Do you know why I was so busy, Rosa? Because someone had to pay the mortgage on the house where your son was sleeping with my friend. I looked around. Familiar faces now seemed strange. You know what? They can keep it all. The house, the furniture, the gifts. But, Miguel, I suggest you find a good job because you won't have access to my money anymore. Miguel paled. You can't do this. I looked at him mockingly. Oh, yes I can. And I also consulted with a lawyer. I held up my phone and showed him the screen. I have proof of every penny I spent on this house, on you, on our marriage. Carmen clung to Miguel's arm. Miguel? What's he saying? He's lying. He just wants to scare us. I zoomed in on the image on the screen. Lying? Like when you told me you needed money for medical treatment last month. The image showed a bank transfer. Oh, yes, for the ring Carmen is wearing on her hand. Carmen looked at her ring and then at Miguel, horrified. Didn't you know? Murmurs filled the room. My mother tried to approach me. Daughter, please think about what you're doing. You've been married for years. Years that Miguel threw away. I headed for the door. Miguel followed me. Ana, where are you going? I stopped and looked at him over my shoulder. That's none of your business anymore. But I suggest you start looking for a job. Carmen froze. Miguel? Was the ring bought with his money? I smiled inwardly as I left that house which, in an instant, had ceased to be my home. I checked into a hotel that night without shedding a tear or letting out a scream. I just prepared myself for what was coming. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Miguel, Carmen, my mother, everyone wanted to give me explanations. I ignored every call. I had more important priorities. I met with my lawyer, Mr. Ramirez. I placed the documents on his desk with determination. I want a divorce. And I want Miguel to pay back every last penny he stole from me. Ramirez silently reviewed the papers before looking up. Mrs. Ana, with the evidence we have, we can not only keep the house and recover your money, but we can also sue you for fraud. Fraud is too mild a word to describe what they did. My mother burst into the office unannounced. Her expression was a mixture of anguish and guilt. She sat down across from me, her gaze desperately searching mine. Ana, please answer me. We need to talk. The lawyer, noticing the tension in the air, discreetly withdrew, leaving us alone. I crossed my arms, waiting. She sighed deeply. I know this is difficult. Difficult for whom? I interrupted coldly. For me, who worked for 9 months while my husband slept with my best friend. Or what about you, who pretended not to know while you were throwing her a baby shower? My mother looked down. Her fingers fidgeted nervously with the edge of her purse. We found out 2 months ago. Your father and I wanted to tell you, but Miguel convinced us to wait. I laughed, but there was no joy in my voice. Wait? For what? For the baby to be born and for them to tell me with a glass of wine and a pat on the back. Rosa said it was better if you accepted it calmly. My fists clenched involuntarily. Accept? Accept that my husband and my best friend betrayed me? And you? How many times did you call me, pretending everything was fine? My mother started to cry. We weren't protecting them. We were protecting the family. The family. I repeated in disbelief. She sighed. You're going to get a divorce, aren't you? You can't reconsider. I leaned toward her. My voice a chilly whisper. I'm not just getting a divorce. I'm going to make sure Miguel never sets foot in this house again. And if you think I'm going to forgive them, you're wrong. My mother stood up abruptly, her face flushed with anger. I don't recognize you, Ana. This isn't the daughter I raised. I smiled bitterly. You're right. I'm no longer the submissive daughter who bowed her head to keep up appearances. I saw her leave, her pride shattered. And I felt nothing. That afternoon I received an unexpected message. It was Carmen's. We need to talk. It's not what you think. I replied with an image. It was Miguel's request to change the beneficiary of my life insurance policy. His response arrived in seconds. I knew nothing about this. Miguel told me you agreed with everything. I smiled coldly. Did he also tell you he bought the ring with his own money? Anna, please. I'm pregnant. Don't do this to me. Do what? Show you the truth. Wasn't that what you wanted when you got into my bed? There was silence. Then, one last message. Think of the baby, Anna. Don't worry about the baby. Worry about yourself and Miguel, because you're going to lose everything. I blocked her. 2 days later, Miguel lost his job. Carmen wrote to me furious. Are you happy? Miguel was fired. How is he supposed to support our child? Maybe you should ask him why he lost his job. You're a snake. You're getting revenge because you couldn't give him a child. My blood ran cold. I took a deep breath before answering. No, Carmen. I'm getting my revenge because you betrayed me. And this is just the beginning. That night, my father came to visit me. Anna, your mother and I made a mistake. We shouldn't have hidden the truth from you. I looked at him emotionlessly. No, it wasn't just one mistake. There were several. I didn't want to lose you, princess. I knew that if I told you, you'd leave us. And now you'll lose me anyway. He started to cry. Please don't push us away. I got up and opened the door. You already did. She left without saying another word. Hours later, my mother-in-law Rosa called me. How could you? Miguel is devastated. Devastated? That's strange. He seemed so happy at the baby shower yesterday. You're selfish. You only think about yourself. No, Rosa. I think about justice. I hung up. The next day, I went to the bank where Miguel worked. I showed them the evidence of the irregular transfers. The principal frowned. This is very serious, Ms. Anna. Miguel could face legal consequences. I know. I just wanted to let you know. That afternoon he received his dismissal letter. Carmen wrote to me again. You ruined us. No, Carmen. They ruined themselves. Miguel sent me an email. Anna, please. I know I made mistakes, but don't destroy everything we built. I responded with a single attachment, a video from the bank's security camera showing Miguel withdrawing money from my accounts. His answer came in seconds. Were you investigating me? No, Miguel. I was just protecting myself. And now I'm going to get back everything you stole from me. That night, while I was having dinner alone at the hotel, I received a message from my lawyer. The judge accepted the lawsuit. We have a preliminary hearing next week. With the evidence we have, we can demand they return all the stolen money. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. Everything was going as planned, but it wasn't over yet. Because this was only the beginning of his downfall. I let out a dry laugh, not out of joy, but out of disbelief. Understand? What did they want me to understand? That they had betrayed me while I wore myself out working to support them? Carmen started to cry, but my emotions were numb. That night I felt nothing. My mother called me urgently. Your father is ill. The stress of all this sighed in annoyance. Stress from what? From hiding secrets? Anna, please. He's in the hospital. And what do you want me to do? Forgive him, like you forgave me for not being able to give you a grandchild? Silence. I hung up. Days later, Miguel showed up at my office. We need to talk. I looked at him with disdain. We have nothing to discuss. Our lawyers will decide everything. Carmen is experiencing complications. The pregnancy is high risk. And that's my fault. We need money for the treatments. I crossed my arms. Like when you needed money for your medical treatment and you used it to buy Carmen a ring? Miguel paled. Anna, please. I'll pay you back every penny. I swear. With what money? With the money from the job you lost because you stole from me. I swallow hard. Carmen manipulated me. There's something you don't know. What other lies do you have for me? Miguel lowered his voice. She planned it all from the beginning. She knew we were having trouble conceiving and used that against me. My heart pounded. And you expect me to believe you? I have proof. I took out my phone. Me too. I played an audio recording. I love you, Carmen. Ana would never understand. You are different. Miguel fell silent. I stared at him. Now go. Tell Carmen her games won't work on me. Attorney Ramirez brought disturbing news. The bank found more irregularities. What else did Miguel do? He didn't just use his personal accounts. He tried to access his investments. My investments? Yes. Troy tried to sell shares in his name, but the bank stopped him. I took a deep breath. Can we use this? Of course. Miguel had no idea what awaited him. Carmen tried to intervene. Please, Ana, don't use it against him. Too late, Carmen. Ana, I'm pregnant. Don't do this to me. Things happened by accident. Right? Please, I blocked her. The judge expedited the process. Carmen lost her job. Miguel lost more money than he imagined. And me? I was just getting started. The last hearing was my guaranteed victory. Ramirez arrived early with new evidence. Mrs. Ana, we found something else. He slid a document onto the table. Miguel and Carmen have been moving money to an account in Panama for months. My eyes narrowed. Where did they get so much money? From their accounts. And from loans Miguel took out in the name of the company where he worked. I leaned across the table. Can we use it in court? Absolutely. The courtroom was packed. The judge reviewed the documents. Mr. Torres. Miss Lopez. Can you explain these transfers? Carmen was trembling. It was for the baby's future. The baby's future. Or her escape plan. Miguel slumped in his chair. Carmen burst into tears. My lawyer presented more evidence. We also found flight reservations and deposits for a house in Panama. Carmen looked at Miguel in horror. Were you planning to leave without me? The judge banged his gavel. The court ordered the immediate arrest of the defendants for fraud and conspiracy. 2 officers approached. Miguel tried to resist. Ana, please don't let them arrest me. Carmen shouted. Think of the baby. The judge looked at her coldly. Her pregnancy does not exempt her from justice. She will receive medical attention in prison. For the first time in a long time, I breathed a sigh of relief. Days later, I found more evidence, emails between Carmen and her lawyer cousin. Carmen, I've identified the target. Miguel Torres, Ana's husband. The bank executive? Yes. His wife just got a promotion. It's the perfect time. My blood was boiling. The judge reviewed the evidence. Miss Lopez, these messages prove that you deliberately planned this relationship. That's not true. Miguel glared at her. Shut up. This was your idea. Carmen was desperate. You promised me we'd get married when you had Ana's money. The judge ordered a full investigation. Days later, a call. Carmen gave birth. It's a boy. And what do they want me to do? The baby is in temporary custody. It's not my problem. Miguel and Carmen were sentenced. Miguel, 5 years old. Carmen, 3. From prison, Carmen sent a letter. Ana, my son needs you. I tore it up without opening it. A year later, I received another letter from Miguel. My mother died because of me. I lost everything. I'm sorry. This time I wasn't sorry for him, but for Rosa. The baby was adopted. He grew up happy, unaware of this story. And I went on with my life. No revenge. No guilt. No them.